Today, a national champion will be crowned here in Season 1 of the Virginia Tech Dynasty here on EA College Football 26. We have made it to the national semifinals. We will go through both semifinal games along with the national championship. And we've got four really good teams set to face off against each other: Alabama, Georgia, and Texas Tech, Ohio State. The biggest storyline, I would say, was the Georgia and Notre Dame game. Ugly defensive battle. Georgia's offense really was not all that impressive, but Brendan Holloway, the possible first-round quarterback, really struggled for Notre Dame. His accuracy was bad. He was a deer in headlights under pressure. He consistently made bad progressions, throwing 2 interceptions. He did not look good, especially compared to the quarterback play we saw in this game, featuring Heisman Trophy winner and projected #1 pick Kieran Riddle, who was able to lead Alabama to victory over Tyree Wells and SMU. I'm very excited to watch Kieran Riddle today, given that as of right now, with 1 week left to go in the NFL regular season, the Cleveland Browns had the projected #1 pick, and with a loss to the Bengals in Week 18, Cleveland will pick first overall, and right now, Kieran Riddle is the projected top guy. In the other game, we've got Ohio State and Texas Tech. The Red Raiders beat South Florida, a team who obviously has exceeded all expectations going into the playoffs. And then Ohio State getting revenge on USC in the Big Ten title rematch. I've gotten some questions about the sliders that I've been using for the slow sim game. So this is what I've been rocking with: All-American 10-minute quarters, similar to my regular gameplay sliders, but the sliders themselves for these games are quite a bit different. I have edited them throughout the playoff. This is what I have rocked with here going into the semifinals. Overall, I think they've created for some fun matchups, and I think so far the 8 games we've seen have all been very different. We've had some shootouts, we've had some defensive battles, we've had some close games, and we've had some blowouts. A little bit of everything, which is exactly what I was going for. My one recommendation, though, would probably be to turn the holding slider down. So we'll start at the Rose Bowl. The Ohio State Buckeyes, the #7 seed, the only team in the semifinals who did not originally have a first-round bye, facing off against the #3 seed, the champions of the Big 12, the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. We'll see which one of these schools is the first to punch their ticket in the national title. We'll start with Ohio State. The storyline for them throughout the year has been how much better they've gotten since the start of the year. Some close games against some bad teams early on. I was very skeptical of these guys, but they've really turned it around. Lost to USC in the conference title, but they got revenge, blowing them out in the second round. 2 very different wins so far in the playoff. It was about the defense against Miami. In the second round, it was about the offense. Wambly Mendoza has been very impressive through 2 playoff games. TK Dicer looked all the part of a top 5 pick in their win against the Trojans. They've got plenty of other weapons here with Leo Fritz and Demir Savage, who were both also very good against USC. And then this defense throughout the playoff has been terrific. We'll see if Texas Tech will be able to stop them, one of the highest scoring offenses in the country. The Red Raiders come into this game 13-1. They're not your ordinary Big 12 team, though. Their defense is terrific themselves. They had multiple shutouts, blew out Oklahoma State in the conference title. Oklahoma State's really good. And then 47-28 against USF. They limited Jalen Davies-Landiner, who only had 74 yards, didn't score, and had 2 drops, which, given how he's played throughout the year, especially against Tennessee in the first round, that's a win. I will say they probably had the worst quarterback left of the 4 teams, but Colin Westwood is no slouch. I think the kid can play, and they're 3-headed monster at receiver. Caleb Hobbs, stud. He looks like a first-rounder. Will Sara might have been the best player on the field in their quarterfinal win against South Florida. And then Jordan Newton, a possible first-rounder as well. Defensively, one of the best we've seen in the Big 12 in a while, largely because of the National Defensive Player of the Year, Oluwafemi Oladipo, who was really held in check by USF. The Bulls scoring 28 points is a surprise. That was one of their lowest totals of the year, but it's especially surprising when you consider that Oladipo really didn't make much of an impact. It was everybody else who produced for the Red Raiders. As I mentioned earlier in the playoff, Texas Tech was my pick to win the whole thing, and I'm going to stick by it. I think these guys are very balanced. They had the makings on both sides of the ball of a champion, but Ohio State on paper is a little more talented. Up the middle, Westwood connects with Will Sara, hard over height, 5'8", 172. He was the best of Texas Tech's 3 receivers in their win against USF. Wide open down the field, it's Sara who gets it to the 30. Texas Tech might have 2 first-rounders this year at wide receiver. It's crazy that Sara has looked just as impressive as them throughout the year. Here's Hops inside the 5, a great play after the catch. That's why this kid is going to go early this year. He is dynamic with the ball in his hands. Westwood up the middle, touchdown Texas Tech. Jamison Kamara, the tight end, who scored twice in the win against USF, is on the board. A very fast drive. The Red Raiders marching right down the field. They lead 7-0. We'll see what Ohio State can do. 3rd down and around 6 or 7. Mendoza with a strike up the middle. It's hauled in past the 50. Demir Savage, the redshirt freshman, who had a great game himself, scoring twice against USC in the quarterfinals. 1st down, play action. Mendoza up the middle again with a bullet. What a throw. He's got Leo Fritz, the senior, who's a projected day 3 pick, but statistically his numbers are not far off from TK Dicer, the current wide receiver 1. Mendoza for the end zone. It's broken away. Tries to send it up for Dicer, but Texas Tech is able to get the stop. Good play there by the defense. Field goal is up. Field goal is good for Ohio State, and that'll make it 7-3. Good kick by Fernando Soriano, the 85 overall junior, one of the highest rated special teamers in the country. 3rd down and 12 now for the Red Raiders with the running back in motion. Westwood looks to throw it, sails it deep down the field, it is broken away. Sara had a step on the corner, he won his rep, but the pass was underthrown. Ohio State back with it, the tight end Austin Miller with a nice gain past the 50. These offenses are moving it really nicely. The passing games, minus that last 3rd down throw by Westwood, have both been very impressive. Pennington fumbles the ball, and it's picked up by the defense. Texas Tech with the takeaway. It's Tim Overseen who recovers the fumble forced away by Denario Lasco. The sophomore defensive tackle rips it away, and Overseen, a projected 2nd rounder, has looked considerably better than the projected 1st rounder Oladipo throughout the playoffs. Here's Sara again breaking tackles near the 25. This kid is all heart. I mean, he's not going to get drafted that high in the NFL because he's so small, but my goodness, the kid is a dog. 7-3 through 1. Texas Tech with the lead. It's been a fun game so far at the Rose Bowl. A lot of action up to this point. Texas Tech, though, appears to be in the driver's seat to start. They're up by 4, coming off the turnover. They've got good field position. Westwood on 3rd down, up the middle for guess who? Will Sara, who was the National Player of the Week a week ago. He gets it inside the 5. A reverse! Touchdown! Caleb Hops! 14-3. It's only a matter of time until this kid really starts to make his presence felt. Hops with the reverse adds to the lead for the Red Raiders. Even though Sara has been fantastic and they should continue to feed him, I definitely want to see more of Caleb Hops. He's been good when he's gotten the ball today, but he hasn't gotten it often. Mendoza is sacked. Good job by the Red Raider defense to make a play in the backfield. The 2 safeties, Carlos Ruiz and Jamichael Bredesen, coming in off of blitzes, both bringing him down. Red Raiders get it back with good field position. They can really put themselves ahead comfortably, but that one is broken away. Jordan Newton, the intended target. That's Josiah Serrano, the freshman, who got a hand on it, and that'll bring out the field goal unit for the Red Raiders. Tavon Jean-Pierre from 52, it is good, and that will make it 17-3. Ohio State's defense was terrific in the first 2 games. They only allowed 16.5 points per game through their first 2 playoff matchups. They've already let up 17 today. Texas Tech's offense has come to play, and Ohio State's offense is going to have to respond. Good run up the middle by Maxwell Pennington, nearing midfield. They've got to get the run game established, and they've got to get TK Dicer the ball. He's so good with the ball in his hands. The other receivers are getting involved, though. It's Leo Fritz again with the 1st down. Texas Tech, though, is taking Dicer out of the game. He's been their main focus within the defensive game plan. On third down, Mendoza, it is caught inside the 5. Leo Fritz again. Give Fritz credit. He's had to be the go-to guy offensively and has excelled. Play action, Mendoza dances around, has open room, and walks it in for a touchdown. So Ohio State is able to respond. They needed to score on this drive, and they do, making it 17-10. We've got ourselves a ball game, folks. Texas Tech gets it back. Their offense has been impressive, scoring on 3 of their first 4 drives of the game. 2nd and 10. Following the 2-minute timeout, it's Tremaine Gillikin with the sack. Ohio State's pass rush was relentless last week against USC. So far, not so much today, as that one is broken away. Good job on that rep by the pass rush to suffocate the pocket for Westwood. And now Ohio State can theoretically tie the game up. Inside the 50, good field position. Pennington to the left side. Gets it to the 35, where he's wrapped up by the National Defensive Player of the Year, Oluwafemi Oladipo. We have not really gotten to call his name yet. Pennington is stopped that time. Texas Tech. It's Jamichael Bredesen, the safety, who brings him down. 4th and inches, under a minute left in the half. Ohio State will go for it. Mendoza under center, hands it off. Pennington with a first down. Does not get much more. But all he needed was just a couple of inches to get the first. That'll move the chains under 40 seconds. Mendoza up the middle. There he is, TK Dicer. His first catch of the game. Following play, Pennington. No. Ohio State uses their last timeout with 10 seconds left. We'll see how they manage this. They're going to keep the offense out on the field. Mendoza knows they cannot be tackled in the field of play. Mendoza, clean pocket, end zone, touchdown! TK Slicin' and Dyson. Dicer ties it at 17. Ohio State's finally able to get their top receiver the football. There's a reason why he was on the Heisman list. We saw it last week against USC. As that'll wrap things up here in Pasadena through 2. 17-17. We've got ourselves a good one. This game was all Texas Tech early. Colin Westwood's been impressive. 14 of 21, 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. Will Sara, 5 catches, 87 yards. He's been really good. Hops has been quiet. He only has 26 yards. Granted, he has scored. Jordan Newton, meanwhile, has not caught a single pass. For the Buckeyes, Mendoza's been ultra efficient. 17 of 19, 163 yards and a score. TK Dicer's only caught 2 passes. Both of them, though, coming on that last drive, including a touchdown to tie the game. Ohio State's got the momentum going into the third quarter. They've got the ball as well. We'll see if they take advantage. Mendoza, his pass is caught. It's Dicer again. Past the 40, but there is a flag. I don't think it's going to matter, though. Defensive pass interference called against TCU on Jamichael Bredesen. The safeties had a phenomenal game. It was a little too handsy there. Ohio State will decline the penalty. They'll take the first down. Mendoza sails it down the field, and it is caught by Demir Savage, who keeps the drive moving for the Buckeyes. Inside the 10, 3rd and 3. Mendoza, no time to throw it. Tim Overseen in the backfield with the sack, flying off the edge. Texas Tech has had some good wins up front against a loaded Ohio State offensive line. That'll bring out the field goal unit. Fernando Soriano, 1 of 1 so far. His kick is good from around 32. Ohio State, who was once down 17-3, has scored 17 unanswered. They now lead it by 3. Texas Tech has been a little sloppy since the start of the second quarter, but they built a big enough lead to where they're certainly in position to still come back. Westwood floats it up, and it is incomplete. What was he trying to do there? Was he aiming it for the defensive back? That was really stupid. Ohio State has it back. The Buckeyes continuing to carry on with the momentum. Fritz inside the 30, nearing the 25. It's like a flip has been switched. The first 15 minutes of the game was all Texas Tech. Since then, it's been all Ohio State. 3rd down and 2 now for the Buckeyes. Mendoza looks to throw it, lobs it up, one-on-one, back of the end zone for Dicer. It's incomplete. Good coverage by the Red Raiders, and they're going to go for it here on 4th and 2. I like the call here. I think you're close enough to where you feel confident about getting it. Dicer in motion. Mendoza. It's caught. And Fritz does not get it. Texas Tech with the stop. What a tackle by Eric Alvarez, the junior linebacker. There's Jordan Newton finally catching a pass, fighting for yardage. He's able to get the first down. 3rd and 7. That one up the middle is caught. Newton again. He is so impressive at the catch point. Very physical. He's a jump ball guy at 6'5", but his game has a lot more to offer as well. This one's not going to count, though. A holding against Tyler Ezzie, the right guard. And instead of the first down conversion, it's 3rd and 17. Texas Tech is shooting themselves in the foot right now. They're lucky to still only be down by 3. Newton catches the short one, but he does not get much. Josiah Serrano brings him down. We have another flag, another holding against TCU. Ohio State will decline it. Diego Trapazzo, the right tackle. So the Buckeyes have it back. A little over a minute left in the 3rd. Mendoza intercepted! There's the spark they need. It's Alvarez with the interception. He had the big tackle on the last drive, and now the junior is in with the interception. Texas Tech needs a spark. They needed a momentum-flipping play, and I think they might have just got it. They're going to have good field position. Offense has got to capitalize. Westwood short for the tight end, Kamara. Look at him go! Fighting for yardage on 1st and 20. The Red Raiders would eventually get the first down, and that'll wrap up the 3rd. 20-17, Ohio State with the lead. The Buckeyes, again, were the better team in the 3rd quarter, but the interception by Alvarez really changes everything. Texas Tech is starting to get their swagger back. They're in a little bit of the rhythm again. Westwood on 3rd down. It is broken up. He was looking for Caleb Hops. We've got another flag. This offensive line is being called for everything. Micah Hellwing, the star left tackle, called for a hold. The Buckeyes are going to decline it, and that'll bring out the field goal unit. A 51-yarder for Tavon Jean-Pierre to tie the game with 9 minutes to play. It's up, and it is good. 20-20, we are knotted up. Jean-Pierre, this senior, drills it. Ohio State has it back on 2nd down. Mendoza down the field, tipped, intercepted! Jamichael Bredeson's got it for Texas Tech. Another turnover forced by the Red Raider defense. It's not entirely Mendoza's fault because it was caught off the tip, but he also sent it into traffic with 3 defenders in the area. He was playing in traffic and unfortunately just got ran over by the car. Bredesen has had himself a first-round draft pick type of night at safety as the Red Raiders look to take the lead, but Westwood misfires on 3rd down. Jean-Pierre has made kicks from 51 and 52 yards. How about this one from 53 for the lead? Tavon Jean-Pierre, it is good. 23-20, Texas Tech is on top. This has been, without a doubt, one of the best games of the playoff. It has been a really, really fun matchup. We still got 5.5 minutes to go. Dicer on the end around. Texas Tech saw it coming. Ohio State's trying to find ways to get him the ball, but it's not working. Mendoza up the middle. What a throw! He's got Leo Fritz, 9 catches for $121. That might be the best play I've ever seen Mendoza make. Dancing around in the pocket, find space on the run with an absolute bullet for Fritz. That's the type of throw NFL scouts are going to see and want to consider him in the first round. Pennington just shy of the end zone, wrapped up at the 1. Great run by the senior. Ohio State's having some trouble punching it in, though. Tremaine Whiteheart does not get it on 2nd and goal, and that'll make it 3rd down, backed up at the 4 with under 3 minutes to go. We'll see what Mendoza has in store here. He'll look to throw it. Wambly Mendoza has time. End zone. Touchdown! Austin Miller puts the Buckeyes ahead. What a drive by Wambly Mendoza, who continues to pass the eye test in every which way throughout the college football playoff. In all 3 games against Miami, USC, and Texas Tech, kids look like the first rounder. The screen does not work at all for Texas Tech, and we'll be looking at a pivotal 3rd and 8 out of the 2-minute warning. Biggest play of the year for Texas Tech, and if they don't get it, they're probably going to have to go for it. Westwood, another screen. Earl Love flattened in the backfield by the Buckeyes. 4th and 9. What choice do they have here with under 2 minutes to go? Westwood looking down the field. It's caught! Will Sara to the 50. There is a flag, but I think it's going to be on the defense. A lot of contact from Josiah Serrano. They'll call him for a pass interference. Serrano is 6 inches taller than Will Sara, who still is able to make the contested catch, even with the penalty. Texas Tech declines it, of course, as Westwood's pass is caught. Caleb hops past the 40 for a first down, and the Red Raiders are starting to move it a little bit. With 1:20 to go, the tight end Kamara in motion, play action. Westwood nearly intercepted. Oh my goodness. That one should have been picked off. Emilio Barbosa had it in his hands. Now looking at a 3rd and 4. Westwood under pressure up the middle. Kamara with the first down, but we've got another flag. The offensive line, the holding calls, the lack of discipline has been killing this offense in the second half. Trapazzo called for another hold, and that'll make it a 3rd down and 14, completely changing the complexity of the drive. Texas Tech basically has 2 plays to save their season. Why are they running screens? They haven't worked in the second half, so why do they keep doing it? 4th down and around 15. The Red Raiders with no choice but to go for it. Westwood alone in the backfield. They go 5 wide. Westwood looks to throw it. Looking deep. It is caught! Darren Singleton! Touchdown, Texas Tech! On 4th and 15 with the season on the line. Colin Westwood connects with an unlikely hero. Darren Singleton, the number 4 receiver. It's not Caleb Hops. It's not Jordan Newton. It's not Will Sara. Singleton's the one who gets open up the middle of the field, making it 30-27. Now, Ohio State has 3 timeouts, and all they would need is a field goal to tie the game and bring it into overtime. Play action, not sure who they were fooling there. Short pass is caught by Miller, gets a couple, and they're going to have to use a timeout. Just because Ohio State has all these timeouts doesn't mean they can move slowly. There's got to be more of a sense of urgency. Why are they running the ball? Like, what are we doing? What is the play calling? Are we just throwing timeouts out the window for no reason? The timeouts are supposed to help you, Ryan Day. 3rd down and 4 now for the Buckeyes with Dicer in motion. Can they get him the ball? They do. What a catch. Doesn't get that much. It is a first down, but Ohio State uses their last timeout. Why did they burn all 3 timeouts? They gained 15 yards out of that. Mendoza up the middle, caught by Miller. Not a first down. They've got to keep it moving. Why are they treating this drive as if it's week 5 in the second quarter and they're up 24-0 against Minnesota? Mendoza clocks it with 14. I mean, this genuinely has been some of the worst clock management I think I've ever seen in my life. This is disgusting. 3rd down and 2. Mendoza looks to throw it up the middle. Good throw. Good catch for a first down. I believe that's Fritz. They got to get back to the line. Tick, 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 tick. 8, 7, 6. They spike it with 6. So the question is now, if you're Mendoza, do you go for the sidelines, try to get like 20 yards, get into field goal range, or just go for a Hail Mary? Go for it all. Mendoza looks to throw it. No one's open. Throws it away. Wanted to make sure he had time for one more play. All right, this is it. A spot in the national championship on the line. Got to assume they're going to run Hail Mary. They better not go short. Wow. I was joking when I said that. I wasn't being serious. I didn't think he'd throw the ball 5 yards with the season on the line. What the hell? Texas Tech is going to the national championship. They beat Ohio State 30-27, although really Ohio State beat themselves. Did Ryan Day and Wambly Mendoza bet on the game? I mean, that's my only explanation. I don't want to take anything away from Texas Tech. That was a really impressive fourth quarter comeback. Multiple big takeaways, multiple big 4th downs. Colin Westwood was phenomenal. Will Sara was phenomenal. Texas Tech deserved to win the game. But Ohio State's final drive was completely embarrassing. It's like they didn't want to win. They genuinely looked like they were trying to lose. There might legitimately be a fix on this game. Nonetheless, Texas Tech will be going to the national championship. We will start with Ohio State. I think overall Mendoza was pretty good. The one interception was kind of bad. The other one was tipped. I can't really give him crap for that. My problem with Mendoza was the final drive. There was no sense of urgency. He didn't look down the field. Why? I mean, there's no explanation for it. 139 yards for Max Pennington. He had an impressive game on the ground. Mendoza was kind of quiet as a runner, though. He ran it really well in the first two matchups. Miller had 11 catches. Fritz had 10. He was excellent. I give Texas Tech's defensive coordinator a lot of credit. They were able to take TK Dicer out of the game. Yeah, he still had some nice plays, 4 catches, 44 yards, and a touchdown. But for his standards, extremely quiet. He was clearly the guy they game planned around. They said, the other guys can beat us, but we're not going to let him do it. Defensively, I thought Ohio State had some good moments and some bad moments. Definitely not as good as the first two games, though, against Miami and USC. Texas Tech's passing offense was able to make a lot of impressive plays against them. Colin Westwood, 29 of 43, 278 and 3 touchdowns. Was far from Westwood's best game, but he made some big-time throws when it mattered. Earl Love, 9 for 65, very efficient. And then receiving-wise, Will Sara, this kid's a gamer, 8 for 112, especially in the first half. He was really good. I give Ohio State's defensive coordinator a lot of credit as well because they, again, clearly focused on Caleb Hobbs and Jordan Newton in the game plan. Hobbs had 5 catches. He had a touchdown, but again, for his standards, he was pretty quiet. I thought both of these defensive coordinators called masterful games. And then defensively, guys made plays when they needed to. Tim Overseen, Jamichael Bredesen had 16 tackles along with the big interception in the fourth quarter. So Texas Tech wins the first semifinal game. They are going to the national championship. Who could have seen that going into the year? They weren't even ranked. Now for our second game in the Superdome, the Sugar Bowl, Georgia versus Alabama. Arch rivals in the SEC who have not yet played against each other this year until today. While I'm excited to watch this Alabama team, and they are one of the hottest teams in the country, having scored at least 49 points in each of their last, 5-6 regular season games. But of course, the big storyline is Kieran Riddle, the projected number 1 pick at quarterback. The Browns are 1 loss away from clinching the number 1 pick. I'm not going to reveal my hand or anything yet. We don't want to bury the lead. But I'd be lying if I didn't tell you that at the very least, we will certainly be watching Kieran Riddle very closely. For a team in Cleveland who has not had a quarterback really since the turn of the century, Kieran Riddle has shown that he can be a franchise quarterback in the NFL with a historic Heisman season, a really strong showing in his first career playoff game, throwing for 5 touchdowns in the win against SMU. And he can basically cement his status as the number 1 pick today with 2 more good games if Alabama's able to beat Georgia first and foremost. We're going to consider all of our options, regardless if we get the number 1 pick or not, whether that is picking Kieran Riddle or a different quarterback or a different player or a trade down. But we will be monitoring Kieran Riddle very, very closely, put it that way. If we do get the number 1 pick, there's certainly a chance he would be our guy. Running back Jamarian Suggs will not return for the duration of the playoff officially, so that'll be Jalen Suggs' backfield. I thought Moses Lexington and Trey Lawson were both awesome in the win against SMU. Amir Anthony looked good as well. My question with Alabama is the defense. They have arguably the best offense in the playoff field, but their defense is a little lacking. I think Georgia's offense could have a big day. The Bulldogs are the only undefeated team left in college football with USC's loss in the second round. Georgia currently sitting at 14-0. They've only had 2 games this year decided within 8 points. Granted, that's their 2 most recent games. Ugly win against Notre Dame in the second round. Although Notre Dame's a great team, they finished second in point differential, only behind Georgia. I think Hoppy Reynolds could potentially turn some heads in terms of NFL scouts with some good performances here today. Sir Odiah Nobles certainly will be in the conversation for the number 1 overall pick in next year's draft. And then this Georgia defense is loaded, especially the back end. I think they had the best secondary in college football, and they certainly looked like it against Notre Dame. Excellent in coverage, forcing turnovers. This will be a major test for Kieran Riddle. This defense, in my opinion, might be the best in the country. So the Heisman Trophy winner is going to have his hands full. And if he is a guy who the Browns would theoretically consider at number 1, I want to see him perform well against NFL caliber defenders because Georgia's got them littered at all 3 levels throughout the field. We're going to see a lot of NFL talent in this game. Moses Lexington and Trey Lawson lining up against NFL defensive backs with Georgia. It's going to be a lot of fun. These are two really, really good teams. I think the winner would probably be favored regardless in the national championship against Texas Tech, even though I am riding with the Red Raiders the rest of the way. As Georgia starts with the ball, we'll take a look at the true junior, Hoppy Reynolds, one of the younger quarterbacks in the playoff field. Reynolds winds up, looking deep, down the field, incomplete. Trying to get it to the senior, Delvin Gauthier. As we take a look at number 10, Kieran Riddle, the Heisman Trophy winner and currently the projected Cleveland Brown with the number 1 pick. Riddle wide open. He's got Moses Lexington. Untouched. Goodbye. Touchdown, Alabama. Not a bad start for Kieran Riddle. He's got the tide rolling quickly. Lexington makes the cornerback look foolish, immediately releasing off the line of scrimmage as it's 7-0. Third down here for the Dogs. Reynolds looks to throw it. Boink, incomplete. Tanner Mariani had that one go off his helmet. How did he not get the interception? As Alabama has it back, they'll start their drive at the 27. Riddle, play action. Lobs it up on the first play. It is caught! Trey Lawson! All the way! Touchdown! Crimson Tide! Kieran Riddle is 3 for 3 with 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. What a start for Alabama. Moses Lexington and Trey Lawson look like first-round draft picks. I mean, these guys are making some unbelievable plays. That ball was wobbly. It wasn't even that great of a throw. I mean, it was accurate, but it was not Kieran Riddle's best pass. Still on the money for Lawson to make a ridiculous play, spinning away from the 2 defensive backs. Georgia's already down 14-0 within 3 minutes as Jared Irving does not get the first down, and things go from bad to worse for the Bulldogs very fast. 3rd and 5. That one is caught. That's the other receiver, Amir Anthony, with the first down. Broken up and intercepted. Tyler Gamble picks it off. He's got nobody in front of him, and Georgia gets the spark they need. A pick 6 for Tyler Gamble, and it's 14-7. We've had 3 touchdowns of at least 50-plus yards in this game, and we're not even 5 minutes in. Gamble does a good job finding the football off the drop, and he's got plenty of room to take it the distance. Just the 3rd interception that Kieran Riddle has thrown all year. Georgia needed a spark. This was as bad of a start as they could have asked for, and their defense makes a big play. All of a sudden, there's some life on that sideline. Nowhere to go for Suggs. It's number 4, the freshman defensive lineman, Crusher Hoyt, who looks like one of the better long-term prospects right now in college football. 3rd and 7, low pass caught. Not going to be enough for the first down. Georgia gets to stop. They are backed up at the 5, though, as 2nd and 21. Their offense has not shown anything yet, but here's a good play. It'll get them close to the first down marker. It's Brian Matty, the sophomore. This Georgia team might be the youngest in the playoff field, which makes it all the more remarkable that in terms of point differential and record, they're the best. Reynolds on 3rd down, broken away. Still no first downs for the Bulldogs. I thought this Alabama defense was supposed to be their weakness. They look incredible right now. Gandy up the middle, the true freshman, gets it past the 35, and that will wrap up an action-packed first quarter. Alabama looks good. Kieran Riddle has thrown 3 touchdowns today, 2 to his team and 1 to the other. Georgia's offense, though, has had really nothing going for them. Only 3.4 yards of play. Alabama, meanwhile, is at around 12. So even though it is a one-score game, the Crimson Tide completely dominated the first quarter, with the 1 turnover being the play that's keeping Georgia in it. Riddle down the field, broken away. He tried to get it to Amir Anthony, was jarred out. It's going to be a holding here on Alabama. King Odengbo, who is starting at right tackle for the injured Rashawn Waterman. So Georgia's going to decline the penalty. It will be a 50-yard field goal try for the Tide. Darren Woods, the redshirt senior, his kick is good. 17-7 lead for the Crimson Tide. Georgia gets it back. Their offense has to show something at some point. Reynolds down the field. It's caught! Breaking tackles is Delvin Gauthier, who gets it past the 40. There's the big play Georgia needed offensively. We'll see if they can keep it moving. They were unimpressive throwing the ball against Notre Dame. That's surprisingly carried over to this game against Alabama. But now Hoppy Reynolds all of a sudden is starting to look comfortable as he's got Gauthier again, who gets it inside the 25. A touchdown would make it just a 3-point game, which feels remarkable. Here's Xavier Eccles inside the 10. The talented senior running back with a good play. Play action. Reynolds, he's got the tight end. Jared Irving, touchdown Georgia. The sophomore Irving, who's going to go into next year as the top projected tight end in the draft, makes it 17-14. You would never expect that this game has largely been quite one-sided, but Georgia has it within 3. We'll see what Alabama can do having it back. On second down, Riddle connects with Moses Lexington for the first down. Riddle already over 200 yards, and we're barely halfway through the second. On first down, play action. Riddle takes a gamble into double coverage. It's picked off. Tyler Gamble. See what I did there? His 3rd interception of the year, his 2nd of the first half, and Georgia gets it back. No sugarcoating. That was a horrible decision by Kieran Riddle. What was he thinking? Trey Lawson had no separation on either of the defensive backs. Yeah, I get that he's 6'5", but that's still unrealistic to expect him to come down with it. Riddle had 2 interceptions all year coming into the game. He's added 2 more here in the first half, and now Georgia's looking to take advantage as Gauthier gets the first down. Now a 3rd and 6. Reynolds looks to throw it up the middle. It's caught again. Another first down now to the 45. Georgia looks completely rejuvenated. This offense all of a sudden is alive and well. Up the middle, Brian Matty to the 15. Everybody except for Sir Odiah Nobles is really getting involved for this passing attack. Eccles follows his blockers. He's in for a touchdown. And who would have thought Georgia, who was asleep at the wheel the first 5 minutes, normally they're speeding behind the wheel, have taken the lead here in the first half, 21-17. Just over a minute left for Alabama. Riddle has Lexington again. 5 catches, 87 yards for the transfer wide receiver from Temple. Up the middle, good run by Gandy. Alabama's moving it. The offense looking good in what otherwise has been a disaster of a second quarter for Kieran Riddle and company. Riddle looks to throw it up the middle, wide open. It's Lexington who's got over 100 yards. He gets it inside the 10. We've seen some really good receiver prospects in these playoffs, but Moses Lexington honestly has been the best of the receivers in the college football playoff this year. Riddle is sacked with 15 seconds. It's Golden who brings him down, and Alabama is going to have to use a timeout. That's their final. They better be smart with how they manage this clock. Riddle gets it out quickly, and it's dropped by Lawson. Probably the best thing he could have done there. Riddle should not have thrown the ball in the field of play, as we're down to 12 seconds. 3rd and goal. Riddle, that one's broken up again. Why is he throwing it towards the middle of the field? Kieran Riddle had a phenomenal first quarter and a really bad second quarter. Darren Woods, his field goal is good, and that'll cut the lead to 1. 21-20, Georgia with the lead going into the break. This has also been a really, really good game so far. We've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly from Kieran Riddle, who has had a very up and down first half. Riddle is 17 of 24, 269 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. We're seeing all the flashes as to why we would be excited about him with the number 1 pick, but he's also making some of the same mistakes that plagued him during his 3 seasons at Virginia Tech. Moses Lexington has led the charge, 6 catches, 114 yards, and a score. Trey Lawson, though, also has over 100 yards, 5 for 109 and a touchdown. Alabama's top 2 receivers have been phenomenal. As for Georgia, Hoppy Reynolds, slow start, but he's really got rolling since. 13 of 17, 160 and a touchdown. Eccles with a score. Georgia's been very balanced through the air. Everybody's getting the rock. Alabama has it to start the 3rd. Riddle throws it into the ground. Georgia gets the stop. They'll get the ball back. Bulldogs with the momentum carried over from the second quarter, but Reynolds' pass is broken away, and Georgia will punt it. Alabama has it back. Riddle on first down. It is caught. Breaking the tackle. That's Amir Anthony, who gets it near the 40. Anthony's been impressive throughout these playoffs as well. Certainly not to the level of the top two receivers, but he is certainly no slouch. Wide open, it's Trey Lawson, the all-time Alabama school leader in receiving, to the 21. Oh, that was almost intercepted. Lawson gets it inside the 5. Tyler Gamble nearly had his third of the game. Riddle, short throw. Jalen Gandy walks it in for an Alabama touchdown. Minus nearly getting intercepted again. That was a pretty good drive for Kieran Riddle as the Crimson Tide find themselves on top, 26-21. Now the question is, do you go for two? Do you take the PAT? They elect to kick. Surprisingly, it's 27-21. Here's Reynolds up the middle. It's caught. There he is, Sir Odiah Nobles, who gets it past the 40. Love to see Georgia get him the ball more. Xavier Eccles breaks the tackle, but is still going backwards. We do have a flag, but I think this one will be called on Georgia. The projected first rounder at left tackle, Cassius Boulder, is called for the holding. Alabama declines. Their defense playing well here in the second half as they get it back. Riddle down the field. It's Lexington who strikes again. Touchdown, Alabama. But there's a flag. And this one's coming back. Holding against the left guard, Perfection Winton. Didn't look so perfect there. Gandy on third down gets nothing. Another flag. I think they're looking at Winton again. Way to live up to your name, buddy. A projected top 50 pick going into the playoff. He hasn't really played well. His stock to me has gone down. Georgia back with it. Here's Reynolds looking deep. He's got Nobles wide open. It's overthrown. Sir Odiah Nobles had multiple steps on the defensive back. Gotta find a way to make that throw as Alabama gets it back. Trey Lawson with the first down, but this one looks like it's coming back. Another holding. It's the tackle, Emeka Oganu. I don't know what it is with Alabama and Texas Tech today, but these holding calls are out of control. 3rd and 24 with seconds left in the third. Alabama will get it off. Riddle looking down the field, wide open! Moses Lexington, a 3rd and 24 conversion, as that'll wrap up the third. 27-21, the Tide with the lead. A strong quarter for Alabama. Their defense played really well. Offense was sloppy with the penalties, but Kieran Riddle looked really strong. A lot more like the first quarter version of Riddle, and not the second quarter where he looked like he forgot how to play football. Alabama with good field position, past the 50, up by 6. Is on 3rd and 4. Riddle chased from behind, and he's able to get positive yardage out of it. Not a first down, but good job of recognizing the pressure coming. Pause. Long field goal here from 52. It is good. And the Crimson Tide add to the lead, 30-21. They lead by multiple possessions. So it's go time for Georgia. 8.5 minutes, down by 9. They've got to get rolling at some point. We'll see what Reynolds and company have up their sleeve. Up the middle, nice catch, Brian Matty to around the 45-yard line. That's what they've got to keep doing. Find ways to stretch the field. Reynolds has had some good throws vertically today, but he also has had some misses. That one is caught. Not going to be enough for a first down, and that brings us to one of the biggest plays of the game. 3rd and 4 from the opposing 40. Hoppy Reynolds, incomplete. Had a wide open receiver. I believe that was Matty, who was completely overthrown. Georgia's going to go for it here with 7:14 to go, 4th down and 4. Reynolds looks to throw it as Eccles wide open, and he drops the ball. There is a flag. I think this is going to be on the Georgia offensive line, so Alabama will decline it. Now Georgia shoots themselves in the foot with the drop and the holding. Bama gets it back, up by 9 as Riddle's pass is incomplete. Good coverage by Georgia, so the Bulldogs will get it back fairly quickly thereafter, and they'll have another chance to score. High pass is caught by Matty, a little bit past the 30. Around 4.5 to go. Reynolds on first down. It's Sir Odiah Nobles. Past the 40 to the 39. Georgia's right around the same part of the field they were where their last drive stalled. As Reynolds panics under pressure, and he is sacked. Finally, the Crimson Tide defense gets home their first sack of the game, as it's now a 3rd and 9, 3.5 minutes left. Reynolds up the middle, incomplete. Tries to get it to the running back, Eccles, and that'll make it a 4th and 9. Could this be Georgia's last chance? Hoppy Reynolds, what do you have in store for his buddy? Reynolds' pass down the field is intercepted! Dwayne Stingley's got it for the Tide! Outruns the lineman, beats Reynolds, and he is gone! Touchdown, Alabama! Dwayne Stingley, the junior corner, has possibly punched Alabama's ticket to the national championship. Shades of the Keely Ringo clinching interception in the national championship between these two teams a few years ago. Alabama finally gets their revenge with a very similar play to likely ice the game. 37-21, under 3 minutes to go for the Dogs. If you're looking for a little light at the tunnel, it is still technically a 2-score game as Chester Lawrence gets the sack for Alabama. Reynolds launches it down the field. It is incomplete. Tries to get it up for Delvin Gauthier, as that'll make it a 4th down and 9. This certainly feels like Georgia's last chance. Play action. They fooled no one. Reynolds down the field. Big hit! Incomplete. Gauthier cannot hang on. Alabama gets it back, a 3rd down and very long. They're going to run it with Gandy up the middle. Jalen Gandy gets the 1st down. On 3rd and 23, he gets 24. And Alabama can just taste sweet victory. 1st and goal now. Riddle under pressure. He is sacked. Renee Jerry makes the play for Georgia, and that'll bring us to the 2-minute timeout. Any sort of score makes it a 3-score lead, but it's Kieran Riddle. It's Alabama. They want to do it with style. Moses Lexington scores again. 2nd touchdown of the game. I think he's up to 4 now in the playoff, and Alabama has iced it for good. 44-21 lead for the Crimson Tide. What a showing in the second half for Alabama. Their offense playing well, and their defense pitching a shutout after the break. This was one of the lesser defenses in the SEC, but Georgia scored nothing after halftime as Kalen DeBoer's crew is headed to the national championship. It'll be Alabama versus Texas Tech for all the marbles. The Heisman Trophy winner, Kieran Riddle, had some bad plays today, but overall a good showing, leading the Tide, outplaying Hoppy Reynolds. Even though this Georgia team has been the best in college football this year, 14-0, number 1 ranking, SEC champions, number 1 point differential, the one question mark with them was their youth. This is a really, really young football team, and that could be a blessing and a curse in a lot of ways, and I think today they just kind of had tunnel vision in the second half. But a lot of this group will probably be back next year. Georgia's going to have some high picks, a couple guys in the 1st round, but not as many starters as a lot of these other teams, such as Alabama, will likely be losing. We'll start with the Tide because obviously our main story revolves around Kieran Riddle. 29 of 38, 406 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Had some bad plays, but he had some really good ones as well. Jalen Gandy had a strong afternoon, scored, hit the big touchdown late. I don't know who Alabama's quarterback is going to be next year, but they've got a great building block with their freshman running back. 147 and a score for Lawson, 155 and 2 scores for Lexington. Those two guys look unguardable. And then the defense, I thought, was really, really impressive, all things considered. Georgia not scoring after halftime. Hoppy Reynolds was underwhelming through both playoff games, in my opinion. He's definitely returning to school now. I think he probably would have anyway, given his physical limitations. He'll go into next year as a preseason Heisman favorite, and I think Georgia probably starts next year number 1. They are losing their running back, Xavier Eccles, but they should bring back arguably the best tight end prospect with Jared Irving, arguably the best wide receiver prospect with Sir Odiah Nobles. They've got a lot of guys to replace on the offensive line, but their defense is going to return multiple key players. DeRougie, their leading sack getter. They're hoping to get back multiple starters in the secondary, including Spencer Turpin. We'll see if guys like him declare for the draft as a redshirt sophomore. So Alabama wins the Sugar Bowl. They are going to the national championship. Number 3, Texas Tech. Number 4, Alabama. for all the marbles. I think this is going to be a really fun game. Two, in a lot of ways, very similarly constructed rosters, especially offensively in terms of the skill position guys. Both teams have 3 really good wide receivers, but they win in a lot of different ways. Alabama with the Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback. Texas Tech a little bit stronger on the defensive side of the ball. We just saw Kieran Riddle carve up this Georgia defense, though. If he can beat those guys, he can beat just about anyone. But I think TCU has the horses offensively and the stars on defense to match up with a team like Alabama. So I think we're going to get a great game for the national championship. Number 3, Texas Tech. Number 4, Alabama for all the marbles. The final collegiate game for Heisman Trophy winner Kieran Riddle. What a journey it has been for him. I want to highlight his receivers, though. Trey Lawson and Moses Lexington, projected 3rd-round draft picks right now. Both of them look like first-rounders in both playoff games, outperforming projected first-rounders like TK Dysart and Caleb Hops on this TCU team and Caleb Gasson at Tennessee. The 2 Alabama receivers have arguably been the 2 best of the college football playoff. But as I've been hyping them up all year, this Texas Tech roster is extremely complete. They lack weaknesses. They've got the star power offensively, and I think Colin Westwood at quarterback, he may not be the superstar that Kieran Riddle is. I think he's good enough to lead his team to a championship. The Red Raiders will start with the ball. Westwood up the middle. That one is caught for a first down by Caleb Hops, who only has around 100 yards through the 2 playoff games combined. They're going to have to find a way to get him the ball more. Westwood connects past the 40. Nice job by Jordan Newton coming back to the ball. He struggled against Ohio State, but played really well in the second round against South Florida. Play action, Westwood. End zone, touchdown! Caleb Hops, the first to score in the national championship, and Texas Tech draws first blood. The thing with Hops is that he is probably better than any receiver in this class with the ball in his hands. The question that NFL teams have is, can he run the NFL route tree? Well, on that play, it may be a simple go route, but he was able to separate from the corner quickly and have enough space to make himself open. Riddle is sacked. A quick start for the Texas Tech defense. Tim Overseen brings him down as we look at a 3rd and 17 for the Tide, backed up all the way at their own 6-yard line. With Gandy in motion, Riddle looks to throw it, steps up in the pocket, has literally all day to throw it. Someone's got to get home. Incomplete. He had 10 seconds to throw the ball. How was that the best play they could have gotten? Texas Tech starting inside the 50. What an opening 4 minutes for the Red Raiders. As that one is caught past the 25, Caleb Hops is red hot. Play action. Westwood up the middle. He's got Hops again. Not quite able to get back into the end zone. The talented junior wideout has been unguardable, though. Earl Love is stopped on 3rd and goal. Finally, something goes Alabama's way. It took them 6 minutes as TCU brings out the field goal team. Tavon Jean-Pierre made 3 kicks from 50-plus against Ohio State at the Rose Bowl. Drills the easy chip shot, and it's 10-0. Alabama's only had the ball for 3 plays, yet they're already down by multiple scores. Their offense is going to have to get going quickly because TCU's offense has shown up. Gandy on first down, up the middle, chugging forward, nearing the 45. They've got to establish the run, but obviously they need Kieran Riddle to cook. Riddle down the field. It's caught by the tight end Dallas Addington. We didn't get to say his name much against Georgia, but he makes a nice grab there. Riddle on first down as a wide open receiver to around the 25. That's Trey Lawson. What a playoff he has had so far. Play action. Riddle evades the sack. Looking, end zone. What a throw! Touchdown Alabama. It's Moses Lexington. Browns fans, should we be getting excited? What a play by Riddle. He evades the sack from Oluwafemi Oladipo. He's able to stay upright and launches a bullet for Lexington, his 5th receiving touchdown of the playoff, and that will wrap up the first quarter. Largely was not pretty for Alabama, but they're able to get some momentum with a big drive and an awesome touchdown pass by Kieran Riddle to Moses Lexington. The Red Raiders, though, have very clearly been the better team up to this point. They lead 10-7. Caleb Hops is nearing 100 yards already. He's been incredible. As that brings us to the second. Westwood evades the sack. On the run, it's caught! That's Caleb Hops. 5 catches, 97 yards. The junior looking everything like a first-rounder. Westwood fakes the handoff. It's caught again. Jordan Newton on the board with a reception. He's able to lean the ball out, gets the first down, keeps the chains moving for the Tide. 2nd and 3. Westwood looking. He's got Caleb Hops again. 6 for 109. He looks unguardable right now. And this Texas Tech offense is moving right along. Westwood back of the end zone. Incomplete. Caleb Hops had it in his hands, but the Alabama defender able to jar it away. Would have been his 2nd touchdown of the game. Instead, it's a 3rd and 7. Westwood looks to throw it. Westwood, end zone. Caleb Hops, touchdown, Texas Tech. The junior scores after all, his 2nd score of the first half. He's got 7 catches, over 120 yards already. He looks very clearly like the best player on the field so far, and that's exactly what you hope for from a first-rounder. He did not have this many yards in the first 2 playoff games combined than he has right now. Bama back with it. Riddle goes short. Addington does not get the first down. Texas Tech with the 3rd down stop. They can make it a 3-score lead here. Earl Love with room gets it to around the 50. This is the Alabama defense I was fearful about. They struggled in SEC play and are being exposed right now. Or are they? George Medrano with the interception. There's the spark Alabama needed. Their defense has had a rough go with it so far, but they get the turnover. Bad decision by Colin Westwood. The pass clearly underthrown. Medrano grabs the turnover belt. And now all of a sudden Alabama gets a spark. They're within 10. They have good field position. They've got plenty of time to do some damage here in the first half. A pitch to the right. Gandy loses plenty of yardage. Texas Tech with another big play. That'll make it a 3rd down and 7 for the Tide. 3:20 to go in the first half, trailing by 10. Riddle up the middle, misfires for Lawson. Tech has it back, 3rd and 9, probably the final play before the 2-minute timeout. Westwood evades the pressure, lobs it up. Caleb Hops is wide open, and it's underthrown. They put 2 guys on Hops, and he burned both of them. It's a darn shame he didn't get a good ball there. Alabama back with it. Riddle up the middle with a seed for Lexington. What a throw. This is Alabama's chance not only to make it a 1-score game, but they start with the ball in the second half. It's a 2-for-1 for the Tide. They can put themselves right back in it. Riddle up the middle. He's got Amir Anthony, who gets it near the 30. Alabama's in field goal range, but I'm sure they love more. 35 seconds. That one is caught. Trey Lawson inside the 5, fighting for yardage. Alabama has a timeout. They're not going to use it yet. Inside the 5. Riddle, end zone, picked off! Jamichael Bredesen with the interception. He beats Riddle, and no one is going to catch him. 102 yards. Texas Tech stamps themselves with a 3-score lead with just seconds left in the first half. The biggest play of the entire season. Jamichael Bredesen baits the Heisman Trophy winner into the throw. Amir Anthony had space in the back of the end zone. I see why Riddle made that throw. Gandy was even more open, though, in the center. That should have been the target, but Bredesen comes down with the pick. He intercepted Mendoza last week. He gets Riddle this week, and he takes it 102 yards for a house call. A touchdown for Alabama would have made it a 3-point game. Instead, it's a 3-score game. That interception is a 14-point swing. And Texas Tech now leads it 24-7 going into the break. All of a sudden, Kieran Riddle and the Crimson Tide might be inching towards the panic button, trailing by 3 scores. They've got to figure out how to stop this guy, though. Caleb Hops, who was unimpressive in both of Texas Tech's prior playoff wins, especially the game earlier today against Ohio State, has 7 catches for 122 yards and 2 touchdowns. The only target of his he did not catch was the play where he burned both Alabama corners and had the pass underthrown. If he came down with that one, he'd have 8 catches for like 200 yards and 3 touchdowns in just the first half. The Jermichael Bredesen pick 6, though, without a doubt, is the biggest play of the game. A 14-point swing in favor of the Red Raiders, and they are up by 3 scores going into the break. This one's not over, though. Alabama's got the Heisman Trophy winner. Kieran Riddle, minus the interception, has played fairly well. 11 of 16, 120 yards, a touchdown, and obviously a pick. Colin Westwood's been really good. 18 of 22, 196, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Play action. Riddle nearly is intercepted again. It's Alvarez who got his mitts on it. Kieran's had some bad throws in both games today. He's had some really good ones, but some bad ones too. Down the field, what a throw! There's a good one. He's got Amir Anthony for the first down. We've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly today from Kieran Riddle. He has had some phenomenal plays. That one was one of his best. Riddle is sacked on first down. Denario Lasco, the sophomore, has put his name onto the map in these playoffs. What a player that young man is. Riddle looking deep for Charlie Rimpf, and it's incomplete. So Texas Tech gets the stop. Alabama's going to have to kick. It is a 48-yard try for Darren Woods, and it is good. His first field goal of the game splits the uprights, and it is a 2-score lead, 24-10. Texas Tech has it back in the driver's seat as it's third down. Westwood, wide open, Caleb Hobbs. After the first half that he had, it's an awfully bold strategy to just not cover him. Westwood pitches it, Love going backwards. Tanner Mariani and George Medrano are both there to bring him down, and that'll bring out the field goal team for Texas Tech. Tavon Jean-Pierre, 1 for 1, made his first kick. This one from 48. It is good, and that'll make it 27-10. So both teams trade field goals to start the third quarter. Certainly not a bad sequence for Texas Tech because it takes 6 minutes off the clock. Riddle up the middle with plenty of room. 29 yards for Kieran Riddle. He can run a little bit. He's certainly faster than Joe Flacco. So, again, if we draft him, that'll certainly be a new element for the offense. He loses about 5 or 6 that time, though. Texas Tech sniffs the QB run. They're not going to get fooled twice, and they certainly will not get fooled the third time. What are we doing, Kalen DeBoer? Can we get a little more creative, please, with the play calling? Long field goal here for Woods from 54. The redshirt senior from Irvington, New Jersey. His kick is good, and it's 27-13. Throughout the playoff, we've seen some really good kicking. I've got to say, I'm impressed across the country, including both of these guys. Texas Tech has it back, 27-13. Westwood on the option. He loses yards. It's Chester Lawrence, the best player on this Alabama defensive front, who makes the play. Second down, Westwood lobs it up. Caleb Hobbs, are you kidding? Inside the 30, he was doubled again. He burned both of the corners again, but this time he's able to come down with the catch. That's 200 yards through 3 quarters for Hobbs. Up the middle, Will Sara finally getting involved. He's been quiet today, as has Jordan Newton. Short throw is caught. That one will not get much for Tech, and that will wrap up the third. Not much has changed. The Red Raiders are up by 14. They're about to make it a 3-score lead with a field goal. Texas Tech is firmly in control, and now Alabama's really got to show a sense of urgency. Assuming Texas Tech makes this kick and is up by 17, Alabama's got to start moving fast. There is no time to waste. Jean-Pierre, 3 for 3. That'll make it 30-13. Let's go back to the end of the first half. Let's say Alabama scores a touchdown instead of throws in an interception. It'd be a 3-point game, 23-20. So that one play completely changed this game. Up the middle, good throw. Parker Slater with the first down. Everybody's getting involved right now for Alabama. Riddle's pass is caught. Lawson does not get the first. Obviously, they're going to have to go for it here on 4th and a long 1. With under 7 to go, they've got to get this. Riddle in shotgun, hands it off. Richard LeCount, the backup running back, will get the first down. He only gains around 3, but that's all he needs to keep the drive going. 3rd and inches, Riddle keeps it himself with a nice block inside the 5. Another first down for Alabama. They're doing what they need to on this drive. And now they've got to finish off the job. Riddle, Gandy, touchdown! Jalen Gandy, the true freshman with the score. Step one at the miracle comeback is complete. They've got like 6 or 7 more steps to go. Texas Tech looking to choose some clock here as on second down. Westwood has time up the middle. It is caught! Diving grab by Will Sara for the first down. Now a 3rd and 6. 2.5 to go. Short throw. Kamara inside the 25. And Alabama's going to start using their timeouts. They might not get another shot with the ball. Inside the 25 on first down. Alabama with 1 timeout left. Earl Love to the left side. Gets the first. He's tackled out of bounds by Mariani. Following the 2-minute timeout, Texas Tech has it at the 1. Westwood hands it off. Touchdown! Oguga Iwu, a 5th-year senior, a former walk-on who's worked his way up to being the backup running back here at Texas Tech, is the one with likely the clinching touchdown. Alabama looking for one more score, but Riddle is sacked, and that'll make it a 4th down and about 8, trailing by 17 points with under 30 seconds left. Riddle's pass is incomplete, and that will officially do it. The Texas Tech Red Raiders have shocked the world. They haven't shocked me, but they shocked the world and have won the national championship. 37-20. Texas Tech, our first national champions of the series. The number 3 seed who went 11-1 in the regular season, their only loss coming to Georgia Tech, a common opponent of Virginia Tech. The Red Raiders went unbeaten the rest of the way. They blew out Oklahoma State in the Big 12 title game. Had they lost, they might not have even made the playoff, given that Oklahoma State, who had a very similar resume, ended up missing out. The Red Raiders won their 3 playoff games, blowing out South Florida, barely edging out Ohio State, and taking care of business against Alabama, with Caleb Hobbs winning the college football playoff national championship games MVP, 9 catches, 200 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and his quarterback left off a 70-yard touchdown away from him as well. Colin Westwood, though, overall had a very strong playoff. He was good in all 3 games, and because of that, Colin Westwood is the college football playoff MVP. There's Hobbs holding the trophy. Westwood to his right. Texas Tech of the Big 12 gets it done, spoiling the party for the Heisman Trophy winner, Kieran Riddle. This was supposed to be storybook. National champion, Heisman Trophy, number 1 pick, maybe to the Cleveland Browns, but it does not happen. Big difference on 3rd downs. Alabama was 3 for 11. Texas Tech was 8 for 12, and then obviously the interception was by far the biggest play of the game. Kieran Riddle was good otherwise. 27-38, 292, 2 scores in the pick. Had a couple of bad throws, but he had some really good ones as well. Amir Anthony, 7 for 93. Lexington, another big game. 6 for 76 and a score. Lawson a little bit quieter, though. 5 for 40. Defensively, Alabama couldn't keep up. I give them credit for playing a great game against Georgia, but Texas Tech just has too many guys that they can throw at you, including this kid, Colin Westwood. 28-36, 352, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Phenomenal finish to his redshirt junior season. Earl Love, 69 yards. Nice. And then Caleb Hobbs. If we're looking at a first-round receiver, you're supposed to be the best player on the field. And boy, was he. Easily deserving of the game's MVP. He was excellent. I think the concerns if he can run the route tree are probably less. Jordan Newton struggled again, though. He had 2 drops. Will Sara was not as good as he's been, but still played a great game. He finished in 2nd behind Westwood for the college football playoff MVP. I thought overall he was better throughout the playoff than Hobbs. And then defensively, these guys made plays when they needed to. Oluwafemi Oladipo was not good in the playoff. He did not have any sacks. But everybody else stepped up. Jamichael Bredesen, he had 27 tackles in this episode, 2 interceptions, and then the pick 6, which was the biggest play of the entire season. Without that, the result of the game could have been very different. So congratulations to Texas Tech on their national championship. I would expect Colin Westwood returns next year. I think he could get drafted. I don't think he would be a first rounder. I know the numbers look first round caliber, but since quarterback stats are kind of juiced in this game, while these numbers are still very good, they're not as good as guys like Kieran Riddle and others. Earl Love with a strong end to his collegiate career, 3,000-yard receivers. Caleb Hops stamps himself as a first rounder. Will Sara, I think, probably will be back next year. He'll be a preseason Heisman contender. And then defensively, these guys really impressed me. Even with Oladipo's struggles in the playoffs, everybody else stepped up against 3 great offenses. So congratulations to Texas Tech. Nobody other than me saw this coming. I'll give myself a pat on the back. I've been hyping these guys up all year. So I feel vindicated that they won the whole thing. Here they are in the college football playoff history update over Alabama. Head coach Joey McGuire is now a national champion. Looking at the players of the week, we'll start with the semis. It's Moses Lexington and Tyler Gamble. Hard to argue with either one of those picks. Probably quite deserving. And then in the national championship, Caleb Hops, Jamichael Bredesen. Pretty easy. I don't know who else you would have given it to there. So now that we have crowned a champion and our season of college football is officially over, the attention returns to our Virginia Tech Hokies, who are looking to get to the point where Texas Tech is. And seeing a team like the Red Raiders, who historically have been a pretty mediocre program, rise up to the top of college football is encouraging. Now, Texas Tech has put a lot of money into NIL. They're going to be good for a while. This is not a one-year wonder. But seeing a team like them win the national championship makes me think we can get there one day too. We've got a lot of guys to replace. Noah Singleton, Carmen Drake probably, John Trey Hickson, Clyde Poole. We don't know who our quarterback is going to be next year. Maybe the 4-star freshman Cam Kingsbury. Maybe someone out of the transfer portal. Next episode will be the offseason for season number 1. This team is going to look a lot different, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Wreck 'em. Peace out.